Hello and welcome to Maxim Foods Inside Track, another beautiful autumn's day here in Brisbane. I hope everyone had a great Mother's Day, all the mums out there on Sunday, and were spoilt rotten. Let's have a look at the market. Not a lot of highlights or events over the last fortnight, a bit more of the status quo really in the market. As a general sweeping comment, production has been good in the EU, US and New Zealand, Australia for March, April, May. So supply seems to be reasonably abundant and demand still reasonably steady. So we do see reasonably flat conditions in the market. Let's have a look at full cream milk powder. So not a lot to comment. It was a very even keel result last night. Supply has been quite good year on year for March, April in New Zealand, and demand has been reasonably steady. So not a lot bought off GDT as well from the North Asian and Southeast Asian buyers. So we could probably predict a reasonably flat outlook for the next 2 to 3 months on whole milk. Skim milk powder, if we're looking across the regions, in the US, the non-fat market is reasonably steady. There's been some good activity from South America and Latin America in terms of imports there, so that has helped hold up the non-fat market in the US. In the EU, some big international tenders, recent tenders have swallowed up a bit of excess volume, so things on an even keel for skim milk powder as well. In New Zealand, Australia, we saw a little dip on GDT last night. However, it's been very steady for the last sort of 2 to 3 auctions. And yeah, we don't see a lot of variation sort of up or down on skim over the next 2 to 3 months. Let's have a look at butterfat. For block butter, yeah, probably the best performing commodity at the moment. We've seen another increase in GDT last night and some good activity off GDT from international buyers. So we see New Zealand, Australian butterfat still in reasonable demand and pricing holding. In the EU with butter, we do see pricing drifting off, retail demand drifting off a little bit there, so and supply quite reasonable. So pricing is reasonably bearish in the EU. In the US, butterfat market holding up reasonably well as well. So yeah, on block butter, we see quite a firmish outlook. In terms of AMF, it's a bit of a different story. It's been quite choppy over the last sort of 2 to 3 months, very volatile indeed. So there's a lot of value at the moment in AMF over block butter. So we probably see that jumping around, for the next 2 to 3 months. Having a look at lactose and whey, we touched on this last fortnight. It's very bearish conditions with both sweet whey and lactose. Yeah, we don't see a lot of recovery in demand over the next 2 to 3 months. Cheese production in the US still quite strong, and as a result, sweet whey on the back of that. So we're seeing supply quite abundant, demand weak, so a bearish outlook for whey and lactose. Finishing off with cheese, so we've continued to see good milk production in the US, up 0.5% for March figures there, and April, May looking to be up year on year as well. So plenty of cheese coming out of the US. We're seeing pricing drift off a little bit on the export markets. In the EU, retail demand still reasonably soft, supply good, so yeah, some flat pricing there. Australia and New Zealand, probably the healthiest of the markets there. Australian domestic market for cheese is still good and still strong, so we've seen basically a lot of the Australian manufacturers or processors putting a lot of their milk into cheese as it is a winner there on the retail market. So yeah, pricing a bit more stable for Australian New Zealand cheese in the next 2 to 3 months. Thanks very much for listening to today's Inside Track. I hope you have a really good fortnight, and we'll see you again soon.